All right, howdy, howdy. Hello, Twitch. Hello, YouTube. How we doing today? Howdy, I am Jimmy Moreland. I am audiobook narrator, voice talent, and music producer, and welcome to the show where we do live auditions on VoiceOver's biggest casting sites. We're going to be over on voices.com, Voice123, and then over on ACX, the Audiobook Creation Exchange. Now, if you haven't stopped by the show before, these are real auditions that have been posted to these casting sites. The two big ones, voices.com and Voice123, are what we call pay-to-play casting websites. So they have a pretty steep annual fee. Some of them, Voices in particular, Voice.com, they've both got tiers that you subscribe to, and that sort of changes how the algorithm affects your performance, if you will, on there. And then ACX is more of a free-for-all. But on the pay-to-play websites, I think this is valuable because a lot of folks out there they're considering, like, do I want to jump in? Do I want to make this pretty big annual expense up front to consider joining one of these websites? And hopefully this stream sort of maybe is informative that way, as far as picking one or the other, or if this is something that you want to do at all in your voice acting journey. I myself am going through a journey as well. We're all on a journey together, my friends, and I have been doing audiobook narration for a few years now. I've got a few dozen books under my belt. We're working on one right now. We're having a good relationship with authors coming back to us for sequels and more work, and so that's been going really well. And the voiceover thing is a newer sort of mix to my business here. And we are all running small businesses when we are working in the voice space, whether we're doing audiobooks or sort of the more traditional voiceover type work. So come with me on this journey, and hopefully we can improve and learn together. I am by no means, a mega pro superstar. I am booking work consistently, and I'm paying my mortgage with this work. And so if I can do it, I've got no theater background or training. If I can do it, then I really do feel that anybody can do it. It hasn't been an easy road by any means, but if you are smart enough about how you approach this from the business end of things, and if you can develop the skill set necessary to actually produce the work, then I believe anybody can do this. You don't have to have a nice voice to do this job. In fact, that is the last thing that's important. Having a nice voice really just means you've got more competition, because there are plenty of nice voices out there. But if you have a unique voice, and everybody does, but if you've got a voice that really does fit into like a different niche, then chances are it's going to be much easier to identify which work is in need of your voice, and there will be less competition for that. So you'll have a better chance of getting it. Whereas for me, when I'm doing the nice voice thing, whatever that means, there are literal hundreds of other voice talent out there with nicer voices and who are more experienced at using those nicer voices. And so, it's a market for sure. So you gotta be aware of how the market's going to respond to stuff. So let's stop yapping. Let's do what we're here to do, and that is take a look at some auditions. Now, we are working in Pro Tools. That's the window that you see here on the left. You by no means need to use Pro Tools. In fact, I do not recommend it. I'm only on Pro Tools because I've been doing music for 20 years, and Pro Tools is, for some silly reason, the industry standard in a lot of regards in the music space. So Pro Tools it was something I was used to. It can do everything I need it to do. But if all you're doing is voice work, Twisted Wave, Reaper, Studio One, even Audacity can absolutely do everything you need it to do. Audacity is a free option, and it's going to take more work, and the skills that you learn working in Audacity won't transfer as well. Like, I could pick up Reaper, Studio One, or Twisted Wave today. I could just, for the first time ever, use one of those programs live here on the stream, and I would be able to figure out quickly how to output work that sounded great. But if I had been working only with Audacity, then there would be a bit of a learning curve, because those, I don't want to call them more legitimate, but those more professional level DAWs, digital audio workstations, are going to have features and workflows that are a little bit different than what you'll find in Audacity. Great full-length audiobooks are produced on Audacity every week, and wow, heroes out there who are making Audacity work for them for projects of that size. I cannot imagine personally trying to create something of that scale in Audacity, but best of luck. But we still use Audacity in our workflow from time to time. And I demonstrated that, I believe it was either Monday or it was last week. But there are some neat little tools, and it's a nice lightweight way to do some certain double checks on some things. So Audacity has its place. I'm not saying it's garbage or worthless. It's worth its asking price at the very least. Let's jump into our first job over here on voices.com. This one just came in, and there are already 13 people in line in front of us. Let's take a look here. Should be exciting and engaging with dramatic flair. It's a spec piece. That means speculative. That means they are producing. Typically, a spec piece is like, hey, I'm an animator or a graphic design type person, and I would really like to work for, say, Disney. So I'm going to create this 30-second Disney commercial that no one has asked me to create, no one has approved my creation of, and I'm going to send this thing directly to Disney, and maybe they'll give me a job, or maybe they'll buy the spot and air it themselves. That's probably not going to happen. Disney, they famously lock stuff down, but you can imagine that situation for perhaps lower tier IPs and companies might be interested in something like that. And I do know that there are creatives out there who have great success, and that is perhaps what this creative is doing with this spec spot here. Now let's take a look here. In the heart of Ashwaubenon. We're gonna do that feels like a Native American pronunciation. Ashwaubenon, putting the emphasis on this syllable. So we're going to go with this. I moved up to New England from Texas a couple of years ago, and way up here in New England, there are loads and loads of places with some of these types of names. We are living on Penobscot land. So there are lots of tribal influences, both in the names and in some of the lasting cultural impacts up here for those folks. And so I've started to learn, just seeing some of these words, learning a little bit better how to pronounce them the first time I see them. Whereas growing up in Texas, some of that stuff still exists, but it's not the same. It ain't the same. Let's see here. In the heart of Ashwaubenon, where champions are forged and dreams take flight, a revolution is brewing. Is this a sports piece? Okay, it's a school district pinnacle of athletic innovation. Generally, I pass on sports stuff. I'm not the sports read is not something that's really in my wheelhouse, but this is voices.com. There's no penalty for trying on voices.com. On Voice123, there is an algorithmic penalty. If you submit auditions for stuff that you're just not really suited for, then chances are you're not going to get hired because you're not suited, and chances are the client isn't going to like your audition when they hear it, and so those things actually hurt you in the algorithm. So you have to be really careful and choosy about what you even audition for on Voice123. However, on Voices, go for it. It won't hurt you. So we're going to go for it. We're going to try to give this, it says, exciting and engaging with a dramatic flair. So maybe we'll go a little silly with the sports read here. Dramatic flair. In the heart of Ashwaubenon, where champions are forged and dreams take flight, a revolution is brewing. The time is now. We welcome the future of sports training. Now, I'm wondering, dramatically drawn out, I'm wondering if they're wanting more of the Bruce Buffer. I think that's his name. The guy that calls the UFC. Or is it Vince Buffer? They're brothers, aren't they? The boxing guy and the UFC guy. The fighting out of the red corner, weighing 142 pounds. Those guys. They are brothers. I'd be interested who makes more nowadays. Vince Buffer is the thinner guy, and he's the boxing guy. He's the let's get ready to rumble guy. Whereas I think his brother is Bruce, and he's the guy that does all the like the big fighting in this corner and fight. That's maybe they got their start in traditional voiceover. Maybe they were reading this copy 40 years ago. But I'm not sure if that's what they want here. It says exciting and engaging. The thing is, the time is now dramatically drawn out. This direction right here makes me think that might be what they want. And doing a delivery like that, A, is our first audition in the day. I don't know about that. And B, it is so different from anything else that we typically are going to do in our average day. Audiobooks, even if there's a scene with a lot of yelling and screaming and dying noises or whatever, in audiobooks you don't do that, because you got to consider that people are listening with you in their ears, right in their ears with earbuds. And so like an actual scream, even if you bring the volume down to where it's level with speech, is going to be terrible. It's going to turn people off. And so you do stage yelling and stage screaming, much like stage whispering is a thing. There's the equivalent for audiobooks. Here, though, like, this is a case where, like, you need to do it. You need to belt it, and it's so different from anything else that we do. If I was the kind of guy that did a ton of video games, you got to do it. You actually have to scream when the text calls for screaming. So what we're going to do, rather than trying to do the full Bruce Buffer thing, we're going to continue with the read that we had selected, and we're going to see if that's what they end up wanting. If they end up wanting the loud shouting, then, I'm sure someone will submit that audition, and they'll just pick that one. It doesn't hurt us to not get picked on voices.com. So let's continue. Time is now. We welcome to the future of sports training in our community. I think just welcome. I think that's a typo. I think the word we shouldn't be there. So we're going to say welcome to the future of sports training. Got it. Time is now. Welcome to the future of sports training. Time is now. Welcome to the future of sports training in our community. A place where sweat becomes success and dedication fosters excellence. It's time to step forward and stand together as we introduce the Ashwaubenon School District's pinnacle of athletic innovation. As we prepare... what is this? What's with this run-on sentence? What's going on here? Pinnacle of athletic innovation. As we prepare to elevate our game, rewrite the record books, and leave a mark on the world. Let's join together to keep us in competition for years to come. With your support, the goal is within reach. Ashwaubenon Sports Training Facility, where Jaguar champions succeed. We're going to call that good enough, which is not to say that we're not doing our best. But in the audition world, speed is of the essence. You really do have to submit things, get them in quickly. And agonizing over small details will only make you slower. It won't make your audition better. You just have to, you'll find out for yourself what that bar is for good enough. Oops, don't do that. You'll find out what the bar is for good enough. And once you feel like you've hit that, let's see here. We're just going to say Ashwaubenon. Maybe it's Ashwaubenon. That's okay. You know what? Again, good enough. Ashwaubenon. And even if we say we pronounced the name of the district wrong and everything like that, and, whatever, like, auditions are a numbers game. And if you go into this thinking like, oh, like I'm going to be I'm going to be crushed if I don't get this audition. I'm so perfect for it. Then this is not the industry for you. You need to have a mindset of, this is a numbers game. I'm going to submit as many auditions as I am appropriate for, and you need to fire and forget, to bring a term in from the military. I'm a veteran, so shout out to my veterans out there. But fire and forget is a term that came to be in the flying forces. I was Air Force, but the Navy flies more planes than the Air Force. But in the flying forces, fire and forget is the term used for the smart missiles when those became a thing, where you didn't have to guide the missile all the way to its target by, keeping a laser pointed at it or whatever. You set your targets, you set your target, you pressed fire, and then you could forget about that particular missile because it was going to go where you said it was going to go. So that's how you need to view your auditions. You've set your target, you've replied to the job, you've submitted your work as best as you were able to do in a short amount of time, and then you need to forget about it. You need to trust that the numbers are going to work for you. However many auditions your average is, whether it's, every 1 out of every 10 auditions gets booked. That would be phenomenal. But even if it's 1 out of every 100 auditions, that's still fine if you can make yourself put in the numbers. A 1% booking rate on these casting websites is enough to be a significant portion of your monthly income. It probably won't pay the rent all by itself. It probably can't be your only source of income, and the pay-to-play websites should not be your only source of income anyway. As a voice actor or in general, as a voice actor, you should be doing direct marketing. You should be doing other things to try to generate some business for yourself. Just coming to the pay-to-plays and being like, well, there's no more auditions today. I guess I'm done working. I'm talking to myself right now in more ways than one. This whole stream, it ain't about the views. I'm never going to be a big-time streamer. This is about self-motivation, and so some of these little pep talks are for me. Okay, we've got a job here. Concrete manufacturing. I live half a mile from a concrete processing plant. Cement, if it matters to... I know that there's a difference between concrete and cement, but I've never had to know it. But I know there is a difference, so... I know it is cement processing that happens up the road. Standard corporate script. A little wordy due to client's input. I love this. I love this sort of semi-snarky stuff from whatever this agency is. They like an authoritative tone that's approachable. Here at DaVinci, our goal is simple. Okay, simple. We got this, Reed. Let's go. Here at DaVinci, our goal is simple. To support your project every step of the way. From concept... let's get that right. Let's start again. Here at DaVinci, our goal is simple. To support your project every step of the way, from concept to completion. From concept to completion. We've proven our capability in handling large Let's go ahead and make that edit real quick and punch and roll the rest of this. From concept to completion. We've proven our capability in handling large multi-phase projects. Let's go ahead and pick up that edit point there. In handling large multi-phase projects, demonstrating that we're not just about selling materials. We're committed to building long-lasting Oh boy. We're not just about selling materials. We're committed to building mouth noise there. We're not just about selling materials. We're committed to building long-lasting relationships with our clients. Many of our team members have been with us since the beginning, bringing invaluable experience. Our team members have been with us since the beginning. Let's actually back up to this. Long-lasting relationships with our clients. Many of our team members... I feel like I'm a little dehydrated. That's on me. If you're going to be doing this work, you got to wake up and start hydrating immediately. So I'll be doing some more of that as we work here. Long-lasting relationships with our clients. Many of our team members have been with us since the beginning, bringing invaluable experience to the table. There's simply no substitute for that level of expertise. invaluable experience to the table. There's simply no substitute. Invaluable experience to the table. There's simply no substitute for that level of invaluable experience to the table. There's simply no substitute for that level of expertise in the construction industry. Okay. A bit rough. Took us a while to get there, but we got there. And because we did punch and roll recording, our edit is basically done. We just have to drag out these edit points to where we think they're fine. We'll listen to this one because we're doing a funky edit there. Capability in handling large multi-phase projects, demonstrating that that's fine. But when you do punch and roll and when you get really comfortable with it, you get really good at it, you don't even need to listen to your edit. You know it's good enough. And you always have a fail-safe for something like this is DaVinci. You always have a fail-safe for really long projects like audiobooks, and I would also do this for e-learning, things that are like, 10 minutes or longer, where you can use a proofer like Positron, like I do, to double-check your work. And Positron will obviously, it's a proofer, it's AI, but it's doing the job that a human proofer would do of basically listening, and it won't catch slightly wonky edits, or if your pacing is just a little bit off with the way that you edited, but it will catch if you were a little bit slapdash with your edit and you completely eliminated a word or phrase, or you duplicated a word or phrase. It'll catch those, and you'll see those in your pickup packet, your proofing report. But it's super useful for that. So if you're starting to figure out punch and roll recording, which I highly recommend for anybody, even if you're not doing audiobooks, it's just such a nice way to work. If you're just getting started with it and you're still a little bit hesitant, you're sort of lacking that confidence, go ahead and get a trial with Positron, and just to familiarize yourself with Positron is good practice, because it's a really good tool. A lot of people in the industry use it, especially in audiobooks. So just familiarizing yourself with the tool can't hurt. And you get a couple free hours of processing if you sign up. I do have an affiliate link somewhere. If someone wants it, drop me a message and I'll give you an affiliate link, and that'll give you an additional 3 hours of processing, which if you're not doing audiobooks, 3 hours is more than you'll probably use in a year. But it's good stuff. Love Positron. And they're nice folks too. I've met them in person at a couple of conventions around town. Let's take a look here. Corporate Vision's Rockwell teaser video. We're only a 90% match because they've made it animation category. Okay, I complain about this almost every day. Voices.com. If you ever see this video, please, 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 for the love of God, when a client picks the animation category in the little drop-down for category, please give them a pop-up that says, "Are you sure this is animation?" Because it's probably not. If you're not looking for big, wild animation voice talent, if this is a video for the company's sales team to use, it's not animation. This is video narration category. That's what this is. Yeah, it is animated, but it is not animation category as far as voice talent goes. Even all this, no radio voice, no sports announcer, no local car dealership commercial. We want cool and hip, spoken in a real voice. All of that says not animation. Animation is big character voices. It's Mel Blanc. It's that stuff. And the only line is, leading organizations are now leveraging safety to boost productivity. What a script sample. I kind of want to, you know what? We're going to report this. Obviously, I don't think that this client has done anything wrong. However, they've got 409 reviews. So they've probably posted thousands of projects. They should know better. We're going to do incorrect. This is not animation. It is video narration. Please show clients a pop-up when they choose animation as their category, asking if they really, if that's really what they mean. Every day, clearly non-animation projects are shown as such, and it's negatively affecting non-animation voice talent. Maybe they'll see that. Your feedback is important in helping us maintain accurate job postings. That's all I want. I'm not meaning to browbeat this client, but like this makes the algorithm pointless. Like I could spend 5 minutes creating a BS demo reel, and I could tag it 10 ways to make myself get a 100% voice match on animation. But I'm not an animation voice talent, generally speaking. That's why I don't have an animation voice demo. That's not a priority for me because that's not in my wheelhouse. That's not the kind of acting I tend to do. So the Voices.com is basically encouraging people to cheat the algorithm, to do stupid, silly stuff, to create demos that don't showcase like good and genuine talent, just so they can make this number be bigger. So this isn't about, are you actually a match voice-wise for the work? It's, have you uploaded some BS audio and clicked a couple of drop-down boxes so that your metadata makes this number be bigger? This is just it's an MMO side quest. My video gamers out there, this is an MMO side quest to get this number to be bigger. Number go bigger, brain gets dopamine. That's what this is. Like, it's so frustrating. And it's such a simple fix. Just, hey, look at this. Video narration category. And maybe this video is animated, but they understood that it should be video narration. Love it. Okay. NBCRNA's Maintaining Anesthesia Certification, or MAC program. Oh, so it's the NBCRNA's MAC program. Guides CRNAs through continuous certification to uphold the highest standards in safe, quality patient care. The MAC program I wonder if we're saying MAC or if we're saying MAC. We don't know. We don't know. It gives us no indication. I really wish they did. Okay, well, 25 people in front of us. That's not too bad. It is a longer product, 1,000 words, but this is right in the wheelhouse of e-learning, which is why we are a 100% voice match, because we have a legitimate e-learning demo that is appropriately tagged, not some BS that we just threw up and just clicked the metadata tags. I'm never going to get off of this. Okay, let's go ahead and read this one, shall we? NBCRNA's Maintaining Anesthesia Certification. We almost got it. NBCRNA's Maintaining NBCNR. We're just going to let it roll for the first line here. NBCRNA's Maintaining Anesthesia Certification. Almost got it. NBCRNA's Maintaining Anesthesia Certification. Anesthesia Certification. That's a hard transfer. NBCRNA's Maintaining Anesthesia Certification, or MAC program, guides CRNAs through continuous certification to uphold the highest standards in safe, quality. Let's go ahead and back up to here. RNAs through continuous certification. Let's actually back up to here. I feel like I got so excited about getting it that I rushed through the rest. Anesthesia Certification, or MAC program, guides CRNAs through continuous certification to uphold the highest standards in safe, quality patient care. The MAC program consists of 3 components. MAC Ed, to continue education program consists of 3 components. 3 key components. Wow, just totally missed a word there. In safe, quality patient care. The MAC program consists of 3 key components. MAC Ed, to continue education through online courses and workshops that foster lifelong learning. Okay. I hate that it ends in the middle of a list. Like, I would rather finish that list out so that we can end on the down note, but that's okay. Nothing we can do about it. Let's make our edits here. And the edit is that fast because we did punch and roll recording. All right. The reason this delay comes in, I'll explain shortly. NBCRNA MAC. The reason that delay comes in is because I am activating my RX10 mouth declick plugin. So all the nasty mouth clicky noises that come into play, when I activate that plugin, it is actively listening, basically, analyzing the audio, and eliminating those clicks. But to do that, it needs a little bit of a buffer, needs some time to sort of look ahead, and that creates a delay that, because of my current recording setup, I'm like live monitoring what I can hear. I have to do that so that I can do punch and roll. I'm sure I could go in and set it up to where, like, okay, like, you won't monitor it when you're... I don't got time for that. What I've got here works for me. I just... when I'm not using the RX10, i.e. when I'm recording, I just turn the plugin off. Doesn't take me any more time. Let's see what we got here. We'll take care of that later. I've got a little email checker plugin in Chrome, and basically what this thing does is it just gives me an audible ding and a visual reminder that I've got emails. So when an audition comes in for Voices or Voice123, I'll get an email. If it's a Voice123 email, I'll just archive it. It's fine. It's good to know that it's come in. But when a voices.com email comes in, I want to get that notification and I want to see it right away, because voices.com auditions are time sensitive. You got to get to them right away. DAO trailer. Let's take a look here. We're looking for deep trailer type voice with energy, similar to a summer blockbuster trailer, but not overly dramatic, as it's not a disaster movie. Okay. Since the beginning, we've envisioned a world where the sandbox community shapes... What is the sandbox? The sandbox DAO. All you need is sand or land to vote on sandbox improvement proposals to make your voice heard. What? What is this? What even is this? It's not clear, but you know what? We're just gonna read it. We're gonna try our trailer voice and see what happens. Since the beginning, we've envisioned a world where the sandbox community shapes the platform's future. Is this a game? Oh, NFT. Oh, God. Maybe I'm not the right talent for this. If my initial response to seeing what this is really about made me go, oh, God. That's all right. What's the Michael Jordan quote? Democrat and Republican money spends the same. Which is not to say in politicals that you can do both sides of the aisle nowadays. You cannot. You need to pick a side and stick with it for doing political voiceover. But in a more broad sense, I will do voiceover for products that I don't necessarily care about or even agree with. There's like certain gambling products I won't do. I won't do the voiceover for certain types of gambling products. Now, I don't think that there's anything morally wrong with gambling. I do think that there's problems with the way that some of these companies, run their business, and so that's more of what I have a disagreement with. Likewise, like tobacco, like I'm not a regular tobacco user. I'll occasionally have a little bit of pipe tobacco, sure. With this beard, it's kind of required. But I don't. I kind of feel like gone are the days of like blatant lying in their advertising. Like nowadays, it's like, yeah, here it is. Like life sucks. These cigarettes are gonna kill you, but you still want one, don't you? Like again, I don't know. Vape type stuff. If it's like advertising directly at kids, like no, I'm not gonna do that. But I don't know. We haven't been faced with the moral dilemma of having to say no to like a huge payday to voice, something for a truly reprehensible product. So I guess we'll deal with that problem when it arises. That's how morals work, right? You decide what they are when you're faced with the question. All right, let's go ahead and read this though. This is fine. I just think it's kind of silly, like all the NFT type stuff. Okay, like it's Pokemon for tech bros, and that's fine. Here we go. Since the beginning, we've envisioned a world where the sandbox community shapes the platform's. Okay, so I'm getting the sense, like what we're talking about. I know this kind of trailer, and so here we go. All right. Since the beginning, we've envisioned a world where the sandbox community shapes the platform's future, where every voice matters, collective decisions drive progress, and we forge a brighter tomorrow together. Where our community has a say. A brighter tomorrow together. Where our community has a say over game jam winners. Brighter tomorrow together. Where our community has a say over game jam winners, NFT collections, treasury allocation, and more. Introducing the Sandbox DAO. All you need is sand or land to vote on sandbox improvement proposals and make your voice heard. Simply cast your vote and see the impact. Now it's your time to govern. The Sandbox DAO. The future of decision-making. We're going to call that good enough. Super simple, fast edit because we got through damn near the whole thing without a hitch. And there it is. What is that, 3 edit points? Let's go. And there we go. DAO trailer. There we go. Go. Yeah, once we read enough of the script to really get a sense of like what this product really is. And when I say product, I mean the video product itself, not the product that it is talking about. Because I don't really care about that. I'm talking about the video product that we're voicing for. Once I got a sense for like, oh, okay, I know what this is. This is a community outreach, sort of talking to the members of this community who maybe some of the members of that community like have been upset for a long time because they feel like the mods or admins or whatever people running the show haven't been transparent or whatever. So this video is meant to partially hype up parts of the community who are excited about this, partially to satisfy or quell dissent in parts of the community. It's meant to sort of do all of those things. So your approach in the voiceover can't be overly like, look how amazing this is. It's got to be, you've got to find that nuance where you're speaking to multiple different constituencies all at once. And that, frankly, that's something that I don't think AI voice is going to be able to do that for a long time. That is walking a line that requires some real nuance, some awareness of, the politics of an online community. Like, that's something you need a PhD in being online all the time. And ladies and gentlemen, we have that. So we feel good about that one. Okay, we need voice actors for 3 video sales letter scripts. Online ad, video narration. Love to see that. Let's see here. Conversational but with enthusiasm, not cheesy like an ad, though, like this. I guess are they talking shit? Are they saying that this ad is cheesy, or this is something that they do like? Let's take a look at it. Oh God. Like what? Are we supposed to click this? I'm hesitant. God, what kind of viruses am I going to get?
This breakthrough has gone viral because users say they're losing too much weight.
Ugh. Okay. So I'm going to assume that is the cheesy read. No disrespect to that talent, but I'm going to assume that's what that is. 3 scripts to read at. They're trying to like dictate the read speed. Just tell me. Don't tell me the per minute read speed. Tell me how many words you got, and tell me the finished time. Yeah, I could back that out. Okay, here we go. 8,500 to 10K words in 50-ish minutes. That's a bit fast. It's a bit faster than an audiobook. An audiobook is 9,300 words per hour. And so they're saying if it's 8,500 in 50 minutes, that's still a little fast. And if it's 10K words in 50 minutes, that is fast. So, we'll see. They also finished off every meal with any dessert of their choice with like ice cream, chocolate, or pastries. It may sound unbelievable. Okay. But this is all fine. Only 9 people in line in front of us, so let's just go ahead and go. Let's be fast. They also finished off every meal with any dessert of their choice, like ice cream, chocolate, or pastries. It may sound unbelievable, but it was made possible with a simple and safe after-dinner ritual that you too can do at home right now. We're going to call that good enough. Again, the name of the game on voices.com is to be fast. Now, I did stop in here. Where was that? Like ice cream, chocolate, or pastries. It may sound unbelievable, but it was made possible. It may sound unbelievable, but it was made possible with a simple and safe. We're going to call it good enough. Boom. Turn on declick. There it is. Render this out. I don't know what we're going to call this. I need something to call this, guys. Give me something. Weight loss. All right. Here we go. General. Here we go. We're going to do that. Weight loss. And we are number 10 in line. Not bad. Okay, next up. We've got American Express. Live indifferent. Live indifferent? Live indifferent? Surely it's live. Depth and wisdom. An explorer who has seen the world. Now, there are 71 people in line ahead of us. But it's really short, and boy, wouldn't it be great to just randomly pick up American Express as a client. So why not? Why not? We're here. We're live streaming. Let's do this. Some of us are born to roam the world. We explore far, see the sights over and over. But one day we wake up and the world begins to feel like a much smaller place. So now we roam different. We seek out the unusual, the hidden. Let's read that last bit differently a little bit. Like a much smaller place. So now we roam different. We seek out the unusual, the hidden. That feels a lot better. There's that. To fix this edit point, I see a mouth click that, yeah, RX would probably grab, but we're here. Let's go ahead and do it. There's that. And that's it. That's the whole ad. The whole read, anyway. Turn on D-click. Amex. Amex live indifferent. There we go. Reply to job. This one. There we go. 720. And we are number 72. Lucky number 72, right? We're totally going to get that job, right? We don't care. We are fire and forget. We're sending it off and not worrying about it. Next, EB Year in Review. Is this Eddie Bauer? Who is this? To bring someone to bring North American bring an upbeat, energetic, and spirited approach to this script. This read requires the right energy to bring the fun pop culture moments to life and the maturity to make the brand milestones feel big and important. I have a feeling this is not us, but let's take a look. As dolls transformed in Swifty to... Okay, this is not us. I'm not a pop culture guy. I'm not going to know who half of these people are. Like, I know who Taylor Swift is, you know. Eastern Bank is the company. Interesting. And I do now live in New England. So maybe, you know what? Maybe we don't... Okay, maybe they're based in Boston. Up here in Maine, I don't think I've seen an Eastern Bank up here in Maine. Up here we've got like Camden and a couple other banks. But let's keep looking here. Okay, I guess. So, okay, so I've got enough, you know, pop culture awareness to where I could read, you know, this much without having to study or like phone a friend. And this will certainly be long enough for an audition if I can get through this stuff. Let's take a look here to see if we really want to do it. How many people are in line in front of us? 63 people in line ahead of us. And a fine budget. This would be a cool client to get. That is a concern. It's like, do you want the client? So screw it. Let's give it a read. See if we're gonna have a sneeze here. I think we're okay. Every year has its highlights, the moments that grab hold of our hearts and minds. Every year has its highlights, the moments that grab hold of our hearts and minds and just won't let go. Last year, as dolls transformed into role models and Swifties took over the world, Eastern Bank was spreading. How do we feel about this line, actually? It's highlights. The moments that grab hold of our hearts and minds and just... Let's try this again. Every year has its highlights. The moments that grab hold of our hearts and minds and just won't let go. Last year, as dolls transformed into role models and Swifties took over the world, Eastern Bank was spreading good and making an impact across New England, making 2023 a very good year. On the pop culture front, 2023 saw some massive financial success. And yes, we're talking about T-Swift. Her Eras tour was basically the GDP of a small country. But she wasn't the only one to bring it. Eastern Bank... Let's do a little punch and roll right here. But she wasn't the only one to bring it. Eastern Bank rose to the occasion and showed impressive results during a time that had big banks... Here we go. But she wasn't the only one to bring it. Eastern Bank rose to the occasion and showed impressive results during a time that had big banks wanting to shake it off. We call that good karma. Okay. I think, you know, I initially thought, like, no way am I right for this because of all these pop culture references. But I think that sort of the little wink that was sort of implicit in my read, I think is appropriate here. And I think it's just right for for the client and for the read. And I feel good about that. We'll see, DB year in review. There we go. Reply to job. Oh, they want a live direction session. Let's go. And hit in our quote. Select the file and send it off. Send it off. Come on. There we go. And let's turn these off so we don't have that horrible delay anymore. All right. What's up next? We've got I Am a Conqueror. Okay. Tell us about it. Voice age, 35 to 54. That's us. Narrator, genuine, articulate. Yep. Same stuff we always see. What is this here? I am part of the cause of the conquerors. The die has been cast. I have stepped over the line. The decision I've been built to go. What the hell is this? Is this? Okay. A touchstone of this channel is voice actor, voice talent, know thyself, be true to yourself, be authentic to yourself in the work that you auditioned for. I don't know what's going on with this. I don't have enough information. I don't know if this is serious. I don't know. This seems a bit fucked up. I don't know. If this is. All right. If this is like a Warhammer 40K, this is the prayer of the, Space Marine or something like that, then sure, yeah. I'll give this a wild character read. But this seems to be taking itself really seriously. And this is not us. This is not something that we will feel capable of delivering an authentic read for. So we're going to just archive it, and good luck to the other people who have auditioned for it. Here is something we're only an 80% for, and that is primarily going to be because it is a video games category, and I do not have a video games demo. Voices.com is all about your demos and having them tagged appropriately to sort of inform the algorithm what kind of voice talent you are. So you shouldn't just be uploading garbage and just tagging the hell out of it all just so that you can get a 100% voice match on every single thing that comes in. You really should only be doing demos and then tagging things according to what actually is in your skill set. And video games, there are certainly certain types of things in video games that I would be very well suited for. I was in the military, and anyone who's been in the military, they can do a drill instructor impersonation of some kind. And the impersonation that they're doing is the drill instructor that they had during basic training. And so I have Technical Sergeant Randy Radosevich. He lives in my head. Maybe I shouldn't have given his actual full name. Let's assume that was a fake one I just made up. Shout out to Sergeant Radosevich. He's not in the military anymore. He works at a fabricating company somewhere. Seems to be doing really well. So shout out to the good old Sergeant R. Anyway, but that and a few other sort of archetypal voices are in my skill set, but they're not enough of a focus of my business yet to where I've found it worthwhile to create a video game specific demo. And therefore I haven't uploaded garbage and tagged it video games. So just so that I would get this number to be a 100. Don't do that. It'll hurt you in the long run, I promise. Having crappy demos just to get a good algorithmic result, it helps nobody. And in fact, it just brings the entire ecosystem of voices.com down if people have crappy demos that are tagged just for the sake of the algorithm. Let's take a look here. Looking for a voice that can emulate the commentary to use in a soccer game. I can tell you right now, I am not your sports announcer voice guy. That's not me. So we're going to go ahead and archive that. Moving on to the next one, English dub for beer video. I love beer. Let's to be used internally within company, and that'll be why the budget is so low. If this was to be used as a radio, television, or even online ad, you would expect this budget to be much higher. because we get paid based on usage. Let's take a look here. Energetic and powerful voice. This will be for an English translation of an existing project. We've got an excerpt of the video. Frederick Craft Beer Facility. I'm just wondering, just looking at these beers, a Marzen Lager, an IPA, 3 IPAs. What is it with these IPAs? Can we stop with the IPAs? Are they just like easier to make? Is there really that big a market out there for IPAs? Where are my stouts? Where are my porters? I'm dying out here. I'm drowning in horrible pale ale. They at least have a brown ale. They've got one. They've got a lager, 3 pale ales, and 1 beer. And I bet it's a. You can have a very hoppy, a very bitter brown ale, like an ESB or even like Newcastle Brown is a very bitter brown. So they just got like just bitter as hell beers. Maybe I shouldn't read for this company because I hate their beers. Maybe the brown is excellent. And I'll take a lager from time to time. Turk Tuborg. So I'm wondering where this is from. Let's take a look at the reference file. It's great when a client does give you a reference file. But you gotta with a dub, we gotta see what the dub is like. We don't have a good guess for the language. Maybe it's German. It looks like Turkish. That would be my guess, just looking at the script.
Frederick Craft Bira Tesisine hoş geldiniz. Marzen Lager, India Pale Ale, Wheat IPA, Yakima IPA ve Brown Ale. Türk Tuborg 2017'de.
Okay, I was waiting until I got a good pronunciation of the brand. Turk Tuborg. We're not going to do like an impersonation of the raid that they just gave, but we're going to go ahead and give this a read. We are a 100% match. There's only 24 people in line in front of us, so let's give them the read. Welcome to the Frederick Craft Beer Facility. Marzen Lager. Marzen Lager. Welcome to the Frederick Craft Beer Facility. Let's give them a little bit more. They're saying energetic and powerful. Let's give them a little bit more of that. Welcome to the Frederick Craft Beer Facility. Marzen Lager, India Pale Ale, Wheat IPA, Yakima IPA, and Brown Ale. Turk Tuborg has been demonstrating its expertise in the craft. Let's give that again. And right here. IPA and Brown Ale. Turk Tuborg has been demonstrating its expertise in the craft beer industry since 2017. In our craft beer facility dedicated only to this business, we produce beer facility dedicated only to this business, we produce unique products with different taste profiles. Beer facility dedicated only to this business, we produce unique products with different taste profiles in different categories. The most important feature of our craft beer factory is the ability to produce in small scales and different beer types. Let's enunciate to really. They've put some time and effort into this script, and particularly into this translation of this script. So they've done a lot of work on this. So let's give this the attention that it deserves. Profiles in different categories. The most important feature of our craft beer. Profiles in different categories. The most important feature of our craft beer factory is the ability to produce taste profiles in different categories. The most important feature of our craft beer factory is the ability to produce in small scales and different beer types. That feels a lot better. Let's edit that together real quick. And real quick, I'm going to double check that my chat monitoring is going appropriately. Because yesterday we had someone say hello in chat and we missed it and we felt very sad indeed. So we'll get this rendering and then we'll say hello if we need to. This is Turk Tuborg. Turk Tuborg. I've never had Turk Tuborg beer. I will make sure if I see it out in the wild, I will have it. I've had, certainly had like Russian beer. Had that in Kyrgyzstan. Shout out to my friends at Manas. Let's see here. And double checking. Okay, yeah, we haven't missed anything. Good to go. Send that response off. Now we're going to clear some space here. So we're going to hide all those tracks, duplicate this one 11 times, and we are ready to go for the next one. What do we have? Informative sports health related video. Interesting that I'm only a 90% voice match because I do have a good e-learning demo that has been tagged up appropriately, but I'm only a 90%. So let's find out why. I will bet, before I scroll down, I bet it's because of the role they selected. Let's take a look. Instructor. Okay, I'm going to make a note for myself. I need to go through and change one of my e-learning tags to instructor so that I stop getting this 90% voice match, because that's a real bummer. So what happens? What's the deal with the voice match? Basically, my understanding, and I would love it if someone from voices.com would correct me if I am wrong, but my understanding, based on interviews that I've heard with people from the site, is that on the client side, I'm trying to hire talent. Once I post my job, I'm going to start receiving, obviously, auditions as they come in. And the order that I see them as a client is going to be all the 100% are at the very top in order that they were received. So whoever's the very first 100%er that gets their audition in first, that's the very top and always will be. Then the next 100%er that got their audition in, and then the next, and then the next, and the next. And so all the 100%ers are going to be at the very top. And after the very last 100%er is the very first 90%er that put their audition in. So what that means is, that sounds like super logical, but what that the upshot of that is, if I'm a 90%er, and yeah, there's 49 people in line ahead of me right now, but let's just say I was up at this was posted just after midnight Eastern time. But let's just say I was here working just after midnight, which actually is pretty common. I am a bit of a night owl, and I do get a lot of work done late at night. But let's say I was doing auditions at that time, and say I got this at 5 minutes after midnight, and I was first. I submitted right away. But I'm 90%. So say this client doesn't check their auditions until the following day, say right now. All of the 100%ers that are in this number, which there are probably plenty, they're going to show up before me in this client's portal, like in their page. They're going to see all of the 100%er auditions above mine, even though I was before anyone on the whole website. I was the absolute number one. I'm still potentially going to be, 40th in the list if there are 39 100%ers in this list. So you can see that having a high voice match percentage is extremely important, because you can, I won't do it here because it would reveal client details for jobs that I've booked. But in your statistics page on Voices, you can look and see how many of your auditions have even been listened to. And my friends, it's a lot less than you might think. A lot of these clients are posting jobs, and they are picking, they're making an offer within the first couple of voices that they hear. They're going with the first voice that is good enough. We joke when we're doing auditions that's good enough, let's send it off. They're doing the same thing. They're listening to a couple of auditions and going that one's good enough, let's send it off. So everyone is doing the good enough game, and that's fine. That's how our entire economy is built, on good enough. But that means if you're going to get heard at all, typically, you need to be within the first 10 or 20, and you're going to hope that you've got a 100% voice match. If you've got a 90% voice match, there's got to be something special going on if you think you have a good chance of being listened to. Now, on voices.com, it never hurts to just send one off. It's fine. because it's always good practice. We're playing, we're practicing, we're voice actors, and that's fine. It's good to do that. But you gotta keep the algorithm in mind here on voices, and the way that it's very different on voices versus 123. But we've been yakking a lot, and we're still only on voices. We haven't even seen the Voice123 auditions. So let's quickly start to pass on things that we know we're going to pass on, rather than yakking about it endlessly. So we're going to pass on this one. There's too many people in line in front of us, and we're only at 90%. Here, we're at 80%. We're not even going to look at it. It's a video games thing. That's why we're 80%. 60%. It's an animation thing. Why? Oh, roll monster. Yeah, I don't have a monster thing. I totally could, though. Yesterday or the day before, we did a couple of things that actually had heavy voice effects on them. Audiobook narration. Oh boy, here we go. Am I going to have to bring up the calculator? We'll do it very quickly. Today I started bringing up I started writing up a full, a proper script, because I want to do things right especially on the YouTube channel for the fully produced videos. So I started writing up a script where I'm going to use a version of this calculator to talk about the economics of audiobook production. So for this, the word count is 85,000. So let's put that in here, 85000. And then what's their budget? Their budget is $2,000 to $24.99. Generally, if I was going to quote this, I would probably put $23.90. So I'll go ahead and just put that in here. I might actually adjust that based on what we see here. $23.90. So, shockingly, this book is appropriately priced for the market. However, one thing we have to consider, this is a voices.com job. So this $23.90 isn't what you're going to get paid. Voices.com is going to take 20% of this. So you have to quickly go equals $23.90 times 0.8. That's what you're actually going to get paid. So our per finished hour drops down from a very nice fair market rate to what is below what I would quote if I was quoting a direct per finished hour. The standard rate that I quote new authors that don't have something special going on, I do give a bit of a friendly veteran discount for veteran authors. It's $250. That's what I quote. $250 per finished hour. That's how I quote things. On voices.com, things get quoted by total budget, so you can sort of back out your way into that. So instead of doing that $23.90, what if I quoted the full $24.90? Still, we're below my rate, but that's still in the ballpark of being a decent rate. That is all to say that this is an audition that we would consider. But someone has reported this job. Let's find out why. Maybe there's something some other talent is seeing that I'm not seeing. Let's take a look. Oh, this is the... I briefly saw this last night. I guess I just left up here because... So, I imagine that someone reported this because, I don't know. This definitely has, a pretty brutal vibe to it. But I would be very curious, how much snark is in this. This could be, a crazy dystopian thing. I'm thinking of the game, what's the game? Disco Elysium. If you're aware of that video game, where, Disco Elysium is just a truly psychedelic, trip of a game. And you have the, option to go, you can go, a full fascist route or a full communist route. And either route is, really funny. Lots of crazy, funny things happen if you, really hew one way or the other really hard. And I feel just this quote, communism is when ugly, deformed freaks make it illegal to be normal, then rob and or kill all successful people out of petty resentment and cruelty. The ideology is all just window dressing. I feel like this intro they could be taking the piss, to borrow a British phrase. They could be just... So I don't know. If I was actually going to submit an audition for this, I would really need to know more about the author and their intent, because if they really are going to be, painting anyone slightly left of center with this brush of they're ugly liars who hate and kill, then absolutely not. That's not what I'm about. That's not the kind of thing that I want to be associated with. But if this is like a weird, like dystopian, on the precipice of apocalypse kind of book where it almost gets a little bit steampunk, like, maybe this could be really fun. Like, I do narrate a lot of post-apocalyptic fiction, and these kinds of themes, when they come into play, like, they can be funny and cheeky, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you don't actually endorse certain things, but it could be fun. Introduction: petty resentment and cruelty. So we're gonna go ahead and do this audition. That's what this stream is about. This stream is not about pontificating and doing research. We're gonna go ahead and just do the audition, and if we get shortlisted or selected for this audition, what we will do as professionals, if we have this initial orientation, or probably before that, we'll get some more information from the author / rights holder here, and just go like, hey, what is the thesis of this work? Like, what actually is going on in this story? And if it is something that is absolutely antithetical to the way that we live our lives and so forth, then we're going to respectfully decline the job, and one of these other narrators will have the opportunity to do the same. But for now, you know what? We're here. We're going to do our job. We're going to audition. Auditioning is the job. Introduction: petty resentment and cruelty. Communism is when ugly, deformed freaks make it illegal to be normal, then rob and or kill all successful people out of petty resentment and cruelty. The ideology is all just window dressing. At Mystery Grove. This is not a book about communist ideology. You've read those. This is a book about the communist reality, and how to tell when it's coming to a society near you. History does not repeat, but it rhymes. For as long as there have been beauty and truth, love and life, there have also been the ugly liars who hate and kill. This is the way of things in all things. Is that right? This is the way of things in all things. Okay. Liars who hate and kill. This is the way of things in all liars who hate and kill. This is the way of things in all liars who hate and kill. This is the way of things in all things. There is light and there is dark. Always has been. Always will be. There is light and there is dark. Always has been. Always will be. Civilization is the superstructure built on law and order that keeps the petty, the resentful, and the cruel away from the rest of us. Some societies have been better at this than others. Okay. I feel like that was a pretty good read. Had a little difficult section in there, but we got through it. We're going to go ahead and actually, we're going to cheat these things here with my standard copy-paste room tone bits here. We're going to shorten this one, though. I like that. I like that. Because we did punch and roll recording, as we do with audiobooks in general, that makes our edit that fast. Edit is done. There we go. Hit our automatic crossfades, turn on mouth declick, and send this out. We still don't know what this is called. Petty resentment and cruelty. Why not? Cool. That simple. And we have a template for audiobooks here. And it looks like I did. Okay, we're going to have to do this. Actually, you know what? Because they were very specific about what they wanted the live directed session for. Happy to chat via phone, Zoom, whatever works. I also want to mention that I'm a military veteran. Like, I know it's such an eye-rolling thing. Like CrossFitters, vegans, and military members, like the jokes about like, how do you know if your friend is a military member? Don't worry, they'll tell you. Like, I totally get it, but I'll be damned if it doesn't make a difference in certain cases. I'll say it right here. I'm a military veteran, and I've produced. We'll just There we go, and we're gonna quote that original number here. It kind of hurts to be working down at that lower end of the range, but such is life. But that's all right. Send this off as soon as it uploads. Please upload. There we go. All right. Bring this over. Get the next track ready to go. A lot of auditions here on a Thursday. This is good stuff to see. Let's see here. Let's review back. Only 28 responses. Is everyone like, is there a holiday that I'm not aware of? Like, is everyone out of the office? What's going on? This is great. All right, let's So this is okay. So this is fabric not for like sewing or making garments. This is fabrics for like lawnscaping. Putting down like that underlayment under like a new flower bed or something like that. It seems like. So this is good stuff. Let's review fabric types based on star ratings for weed control, determined by fabric strength and plant health, determined by permeability. Okay, so we've got nested determinations here. Interesting. I think an engineer wrote this copy. Let's review fabric types based on star ratings for weed control, determined by fabric strength and plant health, determined by permeability, along with Let's get this again, man. This is feeling wonky. Let's review fabric types based on star ratings for weed control, determined by My God, we're gonna stitch this together. It's gonna be a mess, but we're gonna do it. Based on star ratings for weed control, determined by fabric strength and plant health, determined by permeability, along with recommended application for each. This chart is divided into two sections: weed barrier landscape prep. This chart is divided into two sections: weed barrier landscape This chart is divided into two sections: weed barrier landscape fabrics and specialty fabrics. Next, we'll examine 8 fabrics in more depth. Cool. All right. How's everybody's allergies doing out there? Maine is apparently currently experiencing like record-breaking pollen count action. I don't typically experience allergies. It's not something that I struggle with, generally speaking. But I guess things are bad enough right now that I am feeling it a little bit. I've got a little bit more sinus noise than I usually do. Fabric. There we go. And that's coming through in the nasal clicks that I'm hearing in my own voiceover work. So it's a bit of a bummer, but we trust in our RX noise reduction tools to do their jobs. All right. I haven't even been keeping track of how many auditions we've done today. I feel like we've done at least 10 or 15. A lot of them coming in. 50-second opioid overdose nasal sprays. So this will be a Narcan ad or a similar product, which is an amazing product. I've had talks with my partner about getting the little certification that you need to carry Narcan, because there is in our area in Maine, and God, like where is it not? But in our area in Maine, there is. It's not at epidemic levels, but there's quite a bit of fentanyl and other hard drug usage happening in our area. And again, name for me a part of the country where that's not happening. But yeah, carrying Narcan, like you never know when you might be able to save a life. So great, great product, great service, great thing to have. And if you can get the certification to carry, then why not? But there are 91 responses in line ahead of us, so we're going to pass on it because it's just so unlikely that we'll be listened to. And we need to get over to Voice123. Breezy Golf. Chances are we're going to pass on this because I've read for plenty of golf products audition-wise. I've never been hired for anything golf-related. I think there's something about my voice that they can tell this guy doesn't golf. And they're right. I got an MBA, big, stupid, expensive business degree that I'm clearly putting to great use now. And all of my, classmates at the MBA, hey, Jimmy, you want to come golf with us? Absolutely not. Especially not in Houston, Texas. Like, hey, it's June in Houston. Do you want to go sit in the sun in like outrageous knitwear? And drink like 5 lagers that are lukewarm? No. I don't want to do any of that. And no, I don't want to float the river with you either. Like, I want to sit in my home and play guitar. Thank you very much. Okay. We have completed our queue on voices.com. Hooray, hooray, hallelujah. Let's head over to Voice123 and let's refresh the page. And we're going to... We've got 12 auditions in the queue, and now on Voice123, it's generally really easy to eliminate a bunch of things right away. And the first criterion upon which we eliminate auditions is if they are over their requested amount of proposals. So, for example, this one right here may be hard to see. Maybe I can zoom in a little bit here. There we go. This number right here, this 50, that means that this client has requested 50 auditions, 50 proposals. They have already received 53. So the odds of us getting listened to are basically 0. So anytime we see that, we're just going to archive it by clicking the little X over here. So let's go through here real quick. We've got a 63 out of 50. Archive that. 50 out of 40. Archive that. 59 out of 50. 103 out of 50. And that's because there's a huge budget. It's a Canadian television channel. Maybe that's what that stands for. But it's some kind of Canadian something. But it pays out in British pounds. So maybe it's one of those things where it's like, hey, get this VPN and you can watch Canadian TV on your British television set. I don't know. But we're not going to worry about it because they've got more than double the amount of proposals they've requested. So there's no chance we're even going to get listened to. Let's scroll through here and make sure once again. Okay. All of these things have, they don't have too many proposals. We're going to go full screen on the chat for a second so that we can go through one by one and make sure that none of these clients are using their full name in the project info page here. We don't want to dox anybody here. So let's see here. Nope, everyone has used the anonymizing feature here. So let's take a look here. Cinema product teaser. We've got a fixed budget. That's good. Generally, if we see a quote requested here, we usually pass on those. We'll talk about those if it comes up. Let's see here. We're proud to announce our first ever popcorn combination featuring a character is the script. What is this? Movie theater announcer voice? Like I guess I kind of get what this might be, but man, we need more info. We need to know, like, what is the character? Who is the character designed to appeal to? Is this a character for kids? Is this a gritty, adult character? Like, what is this? Regionally, where are we talking about? Is this character in the South? Is it this crazy cowboy popcorn? What is this? We need more information. We're not going to risk it. And when I say risk it, Voice123. So on voices.com, everything is about being fast. Voice123, everything you do needs to be with the algorithm in mind. Because if you start to slip in the algorithm, then the quality of the jobs that you see, these are all pretty decent quality jobs. $200, $1,500, $250, $200, $600. We got a little 75 down here, but it happens. We have worked for months to salvage the damage that we did to ourselves in the algorithm. We've worked for months, and we are now back up into a range where we're seeing good jobs. When we first got onto the Voice123 platform, we absolutely nuked ourselves in the algorithm. We were in the bottom 20% of talent on Voice123. My friends, that is a sad, sad place to be. Basically, all the jobs that you see are unpaid, or the budget is a joke, and the clients are harder to work with. I'll do a video at some point explaining the strange sort of inverse, like the difficulty versus price thing is actually inverse. Like the worse the budget is, the harder you're going to work for those pennies. Whereas if the budget is enormous, it's going to be smooth sailing. It's going to be the easiest client interactions you've ever had. It's going to be so nice. That's just how it is in many, many creative industries. And I've got like examples and stuff. Someday I'll get around to finishing that video. But suffice it to say that life in the bottom 20% on Voice123 is not fun. And it took me a good 6 months of being extremely careful and deliberate in how I auditioned, and the kind of work that I took to get back to where I'm in the top 20% of voice talent. And hopefully I'm slowly inching my way towards top 10%. Hopefully I haven't, let down my guard so much that I'm inching my way down to top 30% instead. Hopefully we're still moving in the right direction. But the only granularity in our percentage is by tens. So we just know we're top 20%, and that's a much better place to be than bottom 20%. So that's all to say that we're going to be rejecting a lot of these proposal offers because we're trying to protect ourselves in the algorithm. And if that doesn't sound appealing to you, having to worry that much about like, oh, do I even take this audition or not? Then Voice123 is probably not for you. Voices.com might be the better place for you. But you heard all of our complaints over on Voice123. Welcome to the stream where we just complain nonstop. Now, there are good things about both platforms, absolutely. Let's take a look here at this job and shut up otherwise. We'll provide phonetic pronunciations once hired. Okay, that's good. But what do we have in the... Okay, they're just asking for samples. I never submit for these. If they don't want to hear a custom audition, like, what are you doing? Why are you here? If you just want samples, like, you could go other places and you could get 1 million samples. Like, I just don't understand what clients are doing because the huge exposure, the huge risk that they are exposing themselves to is that someone sends them a sample that sounds amazing, but they can't reproduce. Because maybe that sample was produced in a big, fancy, expensive studio, but they don't have daily access to that studio. That was a one-time thing. Maybe they, as like the capstone of a course that they did for voiceover, and like, oh yeah, at the end of this 10-week course that you're going to pay $10,000 for, we'll produce some nice demos for you so that you can send out to job listings like this. Great, you've got this great sounding demo that you paid all this money for, but now you can't recreate that work in a way that will realistically get you hired. Because you don't have a home studio set up. You don't have microphone, interface. You don't have a room that's properly treated. You don't know how to engineer your own work because you just let these other people do it all. Like, this is setting, as a client, this is setting yourself up for disaster. So if the client doesn't know well enough, like, good luck to this client. They've posted. They should know better. They've posted nearly 200 projects. They should know better. I would love to hear like a logical explanation as to why they do it this way, and I'd love to see like their like success rate of like talent they picked based on samples, and like how frequently they work out versus turn out to be a disaster. I'd love to get that kind of insight from this client, but I can't because they've been anonymized. So maybe that's the point. That's all to say. We're declining that one. This one here has got a nice big old budget. Looking for native Toronto. This word, you might be tempted to pronounce it Toronto with 3 syllables. You need to be as close to 1 syllable as possible with Toronto. That's how you're supposed to pronounce Toronto. So Obviously, this is not for us because we are not native Tronans. Obviously, I'm being a bit silly, but like you will be like, if not corrected, because they are very polite, being Canadians and all. If not corrected, they'll like silently judge you for saying, "Oh, you're from Toronto." Toronto, at least. Just soften that T and just glide right through it. Toronto, and you're good to go. Maybe like as though it's spelled Terrano, like Toronto, Toronto, Toronto. Let's see here. We've got a voices.com job. That means it's time sensitive, so we're going to look at it right away. There's already one person in line ahead of us. Let's go. The Cliffs, a luxury community. We've read these a million times. It's in the Carolinas. They want southern, but not too southern. So let's go. Canebrake or Cannabrake? Ooh. We need to look this up real quick. Let's go to Forvo. This is where we look up pronunciations. Is it break like that or break like... Okay, it is like that.
Canebrake.
That's a British pronunciation, though. Let's just look at Youglish.com. This is another great Canebrake. This is another great resource.
Man is snapped off like a reed in a canebrake.
Okay.
A bird of dank forest floor, a bird of canebrake, and
Canebrake again.
But the pattern on this, I wonder if this is a canebrake.
Okay. That's 4 votes for Canebrake, so we're going to go with Canebrake. I feel like I've heard Cannabrake. Am I crazy? All right, let's go. Introducing Canebrake, where luxury meets lakeside liver. Introducing Canebrake, where luxury meets lakeside living. Nestled within the cliffs at Keowee Falls, discover 12 expansive home sites offering unparalleled access to the... Let's come back all the way to here, where luxury meets lakeside living. Nestled within the cliffs at Keowee Falls, discover 12 expansive home sites offering unparalleled a little bit further, that's fine. Falls. Discover 12 expansive home sites offering unparalleled access to the Jesus. Falls. Discover 12 Falls. Discover 12 expansive home sites offering unparalleled access to the tranquil shores of Lake Keowee Falls. Discover 12 expansive home sites offering unparalleled access to the tranquil shores of Lake Keowee. Many of these home sites feature private docks or dock slips, seamlessly integrating you into the vibrant life on the water. Lake Keowee awaits into the vibrant life on the water. Lake Keowee awaits with its 300 miles of pristine shoreline and 26 miles of shimmering waters weaving through the breathtaking into the vibrant life on the water. Lake Keowee awaits with its... I cannot say that. Wow. Into the vibrant life on the water. Lake Keowee awaits with its 300 miles of pristine shoreline and 26 miles of shimmering waters weaving through the breathtaking landscapes of the Blue Ridge Mountains. We're going to call that good enough. Everything we do is about being good enough, smart enough, and darn it, people like us. Is this a little breath here? Hold on, what's going on here? Luxury meets lakeside living. No, it's just a little sort of ending sigh as I got to the end of the sentence. It's a little bit of a bad habit that I have, ending lines with a little bit of an exhale sound. I have been working on it, and I think I've gotten a whole lot better. It's definitely something I used to do in a very exaggerated way, but we're working on it. Canebrake. It's spelled... Canebrake is spelled 2 different ways. In the actual copy, it's Canebrake, B-R-A-K-E. Up here, it's B-R-E-A-K. That's part of my confusion there, but we're going to be quick. Hit this, general, hit my quote number, grab the file. While that's uploading, we'll glance down here. Only 3 people in line ahead of us. I really think, is there a holiday? Maybe kids are like out of school now? Like, is it summer vacation for some people, or I know some school districts have like a Maycation or something weird. I don't know. It just seems that the talent is not as active today. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, that bodes well for us because there's a lot of work today. So many auditions. God, we're nearly to the end of the stream, and we haven't even gotten to ACX yet. This is very unusual. Yesterday we ended the stream early because we got through all of our auditions, and traffic was too loud to start working on our audiobook. But this is interesting. Okay. Authentic voices with facial capture. This is a very, very different in-person facial capture and voiceover project. That's why this budget is so high. Oh, wait. Per hour with, okay. This is very misleading. The budget is actually $250 per hour with a 2-hour minimum. So this is in LA. They want someone with an authentic Midwest, Minnesota accent who currently is based in LA. The project shoots in Santa Monica, which is a bit of a drive, I think. I haven't spent enough time in LA to really know the geography that well. Well, everything is a bit of a drive in LA, right? You're just going up the street. It'll take you 2 hours. So this looks like they have probably done their research. They know what the market demands, and maybe this even is a union project. It doesn't mention it, but facial captures. It's for a visual dubbing tool. Actors' performances will be used for in-house purposes only and will not reproduce the actor's name, likeness, voice, or image for any commercial purpose. This verbiage is good. I'm still skeptical. Anytime they're capturing that much of you, I'm a little bit skeptical. But it's clear that they're aware of the skepticism that actors will have. But it's cool to see this kind of work pop up. It seems like this is what is the publication that is for on-screen actors? It's not. It's the something page or the something book. There's a service similar to Voices and Voice123, but it's more directed towards on-screen talent, and I think it is similarly focused on the major talent markets of LA, New York, and Chicago. But still, it's interesting to see this kind of stuff, just to know what kind of work is out there, even though we are as far as one can get from the shooting location within the contiguous 48 states. Like, you can't get much further from LA than where I am up here in Maine. So obviously this is not for us. But cool to see that. Mutual Director's Cut version. What does this mean? The film with UK subtitle is available here. Will never be used by the client, only for our reel as film or audio production. Initially, the film is in French. Let's just look at the document here, see what they've got. Dear Talents. Okay, what? Oh, loads and loads of different characters. So, okay. This is ain't nobody got time for this. It seems that we're probably not right for it. So ain't nobody got time for that. Let's move on. Strong, intimidating group leader, male, late 40s. It's a bit outside of our range, but we can still do this. Strong, energetic, intimidating leader, deep, rough, a southern drawl, preferably a Texas accent. Hey! Acting style, energetic, badass. Similar actors like Tommy Lee Jones, Ron Perlman, Sam Elliott. This is right in our wheelhouse. Good amount of lines here. Move out, we have a mission to complete, and I won't tolerate any delays. You think you can handle this? Be results. I feel like we did a different audition for this same client, just looking at the style here. But this seems like this could be fun. So we're going to go ahead and do this. And because this is video game, right? Animated project. Music, video game, and book trailers. So, movie, video game, and book trailers. Anyway, it very much, we're going to have to actually put some volume into this. So I will either attenuate here on my interface. I might back off slightly off the mic, but you don't want to lose all of the nice gooey proximity effect by backing too far off. And plus, as you back off, you'll get more and more room noise, and our booth is pretty well treated, but eventually, you know, the room is going to overcome your distance from the mic. Let's take a look here. Moving on, anything else? I need results, no excuses. Good work on the. Okay, let's go for it. I'm basically just going to be Randy Radosevich here. Move out. We have a mission to complete, and I won't tolerate any delays. You think you can handle this? I need results, not excuses. Move out. We have a mission to complete, and I won't tolerate any delays. You think you can handle this? I need results, not excuses. Good work out there, team. You earned yourself a break, but don't get too comfortable. When I give an order, I expect it to be followed. No questions, no hesitation. Let's read the whole thing, and I'm going to tone down the Texas just a little bit here. Let's do a punch and roll style here. Let's read the whole right here. No questions, no hesitation. Move out. We have a mission to complete, and no questions, no hesitation. Move out. We have a mission to complete, and I won't tolerate any delays. You think you can handle this? I need results, not excuses. Good work out there, team. Let's read that correctly. Results, not excuses. Good work out there, team. You earned yourself a break, but don't get too comfortable. When I give an order, I expect it to. Let's read that again. Break, but don't get too comfortable. When I give an order, I expect it to be followed. No questions, no hesitation. I'm very much feeling like the first read through all the way was much better. I'm still going to give them both. If they like us enough to listen to both full read-throughs, then there's a very good chance we're going to get hired, or at the very least, a like, which obviously we would prefer to get hired than to just get a like, but algorithmically, a like is pretty good too. And like, if once a day an audition popped up that was, hey, you're going to spend 5 minutes recording and editing this audition, you are guaranteed never to get hired for it, but you are 90% to get a like on this. I would do that every single time. Every single time. It is that valuable. Let's take a look here. What are we calling this one? We don't know what to call these. Strong, intimidating. Sure. Strong. Intimidating. Enter. Mute this. Yeah. The algorithm is that important on Voice123 that I would absolutely take a 90% chance to get a like with a concurrent guarantee never to get hired. Once a day. Sure. Absolutely. That might be the only thing I do every day. Just to keep that algorithm strong. Here we go. All right. We've already got the Texan flavored response in here. We're going to hit submit. That feels good. All right. Back to projects. One left. Spec skincare commercial. This person, Jesus, doesn't look at anything. Really low budget. We're going to pass on it. Just a super, super low budget. And skincare, there's a kind of a beauty read that female talent for sure gets a lot of work. But it exists for traditionally male voices as well. But it's not something that's like super in my wheelhouse, so we're going to pass there. So let's reload ACX. We're finally over to ACX with only 13 minutes left to go to the scheduled finish of the stream, but we might go long if we find a really good audiobook to audition for. Let's take a look. Let's make this full screen. Here we are. Basically, right now, the only filters that are on, because right now ACX is just like, it just refuses to remember my filters. I believe the only filter that gets remembered consistently is my budget right here. 200 to 400, and that puts me right. Actually, it's probably pretty attractive to the authors, the rights holders, because I come in with a quote that's on the low end of this price bucket. It's not at the very bottom, but it's on the low end, and I don't know if they also get quotes, for $3.50 per finished hour, but I come in with a quote at $2.50 per finished hour because that works really well for my personal economic situation, and I think it's fair, and I think I provide a good service for that rate. Let's take a look here, though, at whether any of these jobs are actually available for us. And the biggest thing that will help is to select male for voice gender here. And I can see right now we've only got one new job. We've seen all of these. Oops. The blue iris, though, is new to us. So let's take a look at it and see if it is appropriate for us. One thing I see right away here, though, is that they are looking for Canadian English accent. I have had enough Canadians in my life to where I can approximate a decent Canadian accent, but we're just gonna peruse here. Story of love, tested beyond its limits, the family we choose, the beauty that grows in letting go. The setting is a Toronto flower market, and the narrative rotates through a broad spectrum of characters as follows. Tessa Lewis, 26. Do you want a male narrator? Are you sure? Oh, it says they don't care. Male or female or gender neutral. I bet you do care when it comes down to it. It seems like Tessa is the main character. Let's see here. Tessa Lewis is set to embark on a big-time career and marry Toronto's fastest-rising lawyer who loves her to pieces. But when a visit to a flower market from her childhood sparks memories of the mother she lost too soon, Tessa puts her bright future on hold to work there, determined to come to terms with her past. So this needs a female narrator, or gender neutral. It doesn't need my voice. And also, it may come as a shock, but I don't tend to get hired for romance stories. Can you believe it? I get hired for military sci-fi, for thrillers, for post-apocalyptic. If I ever have to describe the sound of a gun cocking, I'm your guy. I'm gonna get hired for that book. But if it's describing feelings of a person who works at a flower shop, as much as I'd like to, I'm sure this is a great story and I would love to read it, but I'm probably not going to get hired to read it. So we feel pretty confident that we can safely pass on this one before we even look at the copy. It does seem very much that even if they were genuinely open to a male sounding voice, it doesn't seem like we would be the right male-sounding voice, just because it's important. Voice talent, know thyself. Very important. So that means that is it, my friends. We're going to reload each one of these just to be sure, but that is it. So we've done it. We've gone through all the auditions. We did so many auditions today. We're feeling productive, and that is good because we've got more productivity, but in a non-voice acting capacity ahead of us today. We've got a house full of chores to get to because my mama is coming to visit from Texas. She'll be here on Saturday, so I've only got today and tomorrow to basically clean the house and do some last-minute projects that have been languishing unfinished. So they've got to get finished in the next 36 hours or so. So I'm going to get on that. I will be back here same time, same place tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, and I'll be doing live auditions as per usual. We've got more cool stuff coming down the line. Eventually, we'll be getting some more fully produced sort of scripted videos out on the YouTube channel. But on Twitch, it's just going to remain just the live stream and maybe some random clips if funny moments happen. But YouTube is going to be where the longer or the more scripted type content eventually starts to populate over there. So if you like that, if you want to see more of that, like, subscribe, do all the stuff, you know what to do. Leave us a comment. I see the chat typically when I see it live, but on YouTube, you can comment well after the video has been posted. I haven't locked the comments or anything. So leave a comment there. Ask a question about this or that if you have any questions, and I will respond to them. So do that, and we love you. We'll see you, and we will be on all next week. My mom will be in town, and love my mama. Oh man, my thing is frozen. Let's do it manually here, like a cave person. Love my mama for sure, but she's gonna be working while she's here, and so are we. So we will be streaming as normal all next week, 1 to 3 Eastern time, and it'll be good. So hope you enjoy. Good luck in your auditions, and we'll see you next time. I'm Jimmy Moreland. Cheers.